Greetings and salutations. You have just tuned into the South Star Classroom. It's episode 242. I'm Jubilee. That's David Castillo. That's the Doc, Charles Cole III. And Omar Yanar, he is also known as the Invisible Man. Huh? We know this. And he will transmute momentarily. But let's get into these check-ins. How are you doing? David, I'm throwing it to you. What's going on, good brother?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, it's good to have you back, Jubilee. We missed you in New Orleans.
We did.
We were
Yeah.
in New Orleans the tail end of last week for the National Alliance of Charter Schools annual conference, and we did a live show there. So it was great to be in the podcast studio that Dr. Cole had put together. Always love visiting the beautiful town of New Orleans.
Yes.
It's like the one of the few places where you can go in the United States of America when it doesn't feel like you're in the United States of America.
That part.
Got to break bread with Mr. Yanar here. We had a couple of good meals over some charbroiled oysters.
Ain't they great? Ain't they good?
Oh my God!
I was asleep, but I'm glad y'all got to go.
I've been to New Orleans so many times, but I will tell you, this was probably my best culinary trip.
Oh, wow.
Say that about
Yeah,
New
man.
Orleans.
I left and I was like, I came home with the box. I almost got taken by customs of the beignet mix from Cafe Du Monde. And I'm like, if you take that, I'm gonna have my wife call you. Because I'm not taking the heat. They probably thought it was like a bag of I don't know what they thought it was. But came home the next day and made a fresh batch of beignets at the house.
How was that?
Powdered sugar. Oh, they came out great. They came out great.
How'd your son like them? I'm always, the boy is growing up, so
he loved them. The wife loved them. We ate like half the box of them. It was crazy. But that was a great trip. And then
now, do you do the thing that other coaches do? I know I'm cutting in, but do you sometimes other coaches take it, they'll do it and add their own thing to it. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
I'm just trying not to mess up the recipe. Yeah.
I got an Indian homie that did something with it. It was interesting. So some kind of spice they have, he added it to it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. And then what else? Just appreciating this World Cup. The World Cup is now transitioned into the knockout stages. So we've had a couple of really exciting matches yesterday. So now if you basically lose, you're out. So now the stakes are like totally up. They're high. Mexico plays at 6 p.m. today, Pacific time. So I'll be watching that. But yeah, it's been good. It's been things are good.
Nice. Thank you. Oh my goodness, Omar, you transmuted. Here you are. You were the Invisible Man just a few short moments ago, and here you are, because this guy's magical. How are you doing, Omar? Let's check in.
Appreciate that immensely. Not even transmutation in a creepy way where I'm staring at Doc from a pair of binoculars in a bush far, far away, trying to figure out what he's up to. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. Doc, where the hell were you? Speaking of which, like if I'm the disappearing man, Doc was like, bro, I never see Doc in person. I love seeing him and David in person. Jubilee, you as well. I miss you immensely. It was so good to see them all. But like, I know Doc was busy, but talk about MIA, man. I'm like, bro, we're in the same city. Come out and have an oyster. No, this man's was either working or sleeping for the cité. He was not hanging out with the homies for the cité.
Rolling with the homies.
I mean, he did the exact opposite of rolling with the homies. This man was not rolling with the homies.
So the podcast space was my vision. I was in charge of not just this podcast, not just but I was in all of them. All of them. There was always something extra to do. I wanted it to be great. I wanted this proof of concept to really soar. And so whenever I left the space, I went to my room and I slept. That's what I went to sleep. That's what I did. So, and you got to remember, I was in Memphis 3 days prior. I had 1 day in between. I just put that stuff up that I did for Sarah Carpenter and her people. I was tired, man. I went. My face was on flyers for like an event celebrating us. I did not go. They were like, are you coming? I was like, no. Can you come for 10 minutes?
No. You did for 10 minutes. You didn't go.
You want a piece of T-Bone 2 man? No.
It was the 6 black hands.
Hey, man. Well, it was because Jay was there too, but it was just, you got to understand, like, I was already tired, and y'all know how hot it was. As soon as you went outside,
oh my goodness,
it just beat you down, and it was just like, no, I'm going to sleep, and then I'm coming back here first thing in the morning. So that's what I did, man. I slept through all your messages, bro.
All right.
Man, regardless, it was so good to see you. It was so good to do a live show. I was actually quite impressed with how well, not just how well the show went, but its receptivity, what people were saying thereafter, and what the general consensus I got from folks after talking with the 8 Black Hands audience and with the South Star Classroom audience was, quote, "We wish that we were just here the whole time." Meaning people that were at the conference were straight up telling us this was the most real, the most transparent, the most useful, the most informative, the most raw information we got, period, at the conference. We should have never even left the podcast room. This is where it was at. I heard that from at least 6 to 7 different individuals. So Doc, hats off to you, man. Because
dude.
I really hope that that got to you, but I really hope that the conference, if I can share that with the conference people, I want to, because I think from what they said, it was the most impactful moment of the conference for them, were the podcasts.
Yep. I heard that too.
It was badass. We really missed you, Jube. And I felt
she would have had a good time.
Yeah, I mean, and Jube, like, I missed you. Doc was asleep.
This is true.
Hang out, buddy. I get it.
Buddy, like, we could have wandered around the quarter. We could have gone to the Collins Bar, gone to Tipitina's for free Fridays. I mean, Doc was not having any of that shit. So I had an amazing time. I ate all the oysters, all the beignets. Had about 1,700 cafe.
This man, like nonstop. Like every time I saw Omar, he literally had a bag
of something,
and he was constantly
a bag
shaking.
of something.
A bag of beignets, and then he also had his big whatever 20-ounce
like tumbler of frozen
the frozen coffee from Cafe Du Monde. I'm like, how do you constantly have this? It's like, I don't know.
Omar be chilling, man. Omar is fun. Omar's fun. See, what y'all saw was Doc working. Like this is like, see, we talked. This is South Star Classroom. We named it the South because we got our Mexican homies that was down south doing all kind of work in Mexico. We got our black homies that that especially during enslavement, having to get down there and work. I was working. I was living up to the South name, the South Star name.
Yeah, you were working.
I had to make sure. And I do have plans for next year. It's going to be in Ohio. If they want to bring us back, I have.
Oh, good, because I've never been to Ohio.
We'll definitely see.
Amusement park, Jubilee.
And I think I used to go to that when I used to go to Six Flags when I lived in Paducah, because Kentucky doesn't have a lot of stuff. So you had to go to Ohio for Six Flags. You had to go to Nashville for Opryland
park in the city. Yeah, I think the greatest. It's like, I can't remember what it's called. It's not at Six Flags, but it's like in Sandusky, Ohio.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Theme park in the country.
You don't know what Sandusky, Ohio?
But I will say this though. I will say this. We had
Jubilee. We're gonna scratch the topic. We're just gonna talk for the next 45 minutes.
New Orleans and Sandusky, Ohio.
People asking. So I mean, but in the middle, but a big chunk of the podcast, absolutely, we're at capacity. I added 25 chairs. We still had to turn away 30 people, 50 people. And I know a lot of people came for the 8 Black Hands reunion. Those people that got turned away were none too pleased. We told people to get there early. Even with 75, 80 chairs in there, we still had to turn away 50. And So it was a lot of love for all the podcasts, all the shows. I think everybody performed well, and we wanted the stage to look beautiful. We didn't want it to feel like the rest of the rooms. And next year, there'll be couches, there'll be a bigger space. I'm advocating for a bar cart for certain shows. It has to feel different from the rest of the joint. So
I love it, dude. I love
it has to feel like a space.
The biggest thing, Doc, that I thought was badass, that I loved, that like I always used in my classroom, no overhead lights. It was all warm lighting from lamps. I mean, that was
and uplights
in itself made it
the same uplights you see behind me that make my set is what I put out, is what we put out there, and it had a huge impact. We covered up the white walls, put some drapery down. I'll show you what it looked like before and after.
Great.
So yes, but Ju,
felt great.
I know. Sorry, Ju. We are out. You don't want everyone to check in.
I love the check-in. So
I think it's time. I think it's time for your check-in, Jube.
Yes.
Oh man,
because you had a pretty event. You couldn't be with us for a very special reason. So you didn't just bounce on us.
Special reason.
Yeah, I was crying all weekend long because I really just couldn't even put it in words.
Were.
I mean, I just couldn't put it in words. It's like joy unspeakable. Thank you, David. But yes, my son, my firstborn son, Sidney Judah Mosley, he had to state his whole name when he was saying the oath.
Young Simba, let's go.
Is officially the 46th student member of the Board of Education for Prince George's County Public School. He's got his board phone, his board laptop, his board email. He has an administrative secretary. He has a chief of staff.
What? Whoa, he's got a chief of staff?
Yeah, he has, and there are other students that he chose, but he does have an administrative secretary that's assigned to him and another board member. Yeah, it's serious. It's really serious. And I think there's a couple.
I love that they treat it like that. I love that.
Oh yeah, the county clerk, I forget her name, the honorable somebody came in to do the ceremony, had to sign the certificates and all of that. But what I'm really, really, really happy about is his growth throughout the process. People were like, "Oh, I know you must be so proud." Yes, and I'm proud because yes, he got into the position, but even more importantly, his character was developed throughout the process, and that will outlast the position. And so, like, learning how to make sure that you're moving with integrity, regardless of what other people do around, because this is a political role, and so, during the campaign, some things happened. I was like, they were a little off key. And I was like, look, you got to stay focused and you got to have integrity. And when you get the win, or if you get the win, it's got to be the right way, And so on the day after he won and they announced it, I was like, all right, come on, let's say a prayer and thank God. He was like, Mommy, I've been praying the whole time. I was like, well, let's pray again. And he started his prayer. He said, Lord, thank you so much because we got the W and we got it the right way, And so that is, to me, what makes me even more excited about that. Like, your character has to grow at the level that your capacity is growing, your character rather. So, yeah. So that's that. So I'm excited. They have impressed upon him just how busy he's going to be. It is going to be his senior year. He could have finished in December, but he's going to do the entire year so that he can make sure that he completes this role. And yeah, so I'm excited. I'm a proud mama, and I'm really grateful. We moved here knowing almost no one 4 years ago. So to see him thrive in this school district to that degree is really, it's mind-boggling. It's incredible. So that's my check-in. Thank you. Charles, would you like another check-in on top of your sleeping, I'm not coming, my name and my picture?
Not at all.
I'm not coming. You don't have anything else you want to say? Okay, so it's time to the topic, honey. All right. So today, I just want to make sure. Also, I really just wanted to pick on you. That's fine. I have to get you back at least.
At least you admitted it. Continue.
Thank you. Thank you for permission. But yeah, today we're talking about valedictorians, weighted GPAs, rankings. This was inspired by graduation season, honestly. I went to so many graduations, and of course, we got the valedictorian, the salutatorian. So I decided to do a little bit of research about it. And I was, interested by what I found. And so the idea of a valedictorian didn't start as a GPA competition. I didn't actually know that. The word comes from the Latin. Oh God, I got to actually do the phonetic. It is vale dicere. That's the Latin word. And it means to say farewell. It had nothing to do with grades. So in its earliest form, the valedictorian was simply the student selected to give the farewell address at graduation. And then over time, the ceremonial role shifted into something real different in American schools. It became a symbol of academic ranking, typically awarded to the student with the highest GPA or class rank. Alongside that, systems like weighted GPAs and class rank became the primary way schools measure academic achievement and determine who rises to the top of a graduating class. But today, that system is being questioned. Some school districts across the United States have begun moving away from valedictorians and salutatorians altogether. Instead, they've adopted Latin honor systems like cum laude, magna cum laude. Laude, is it laude? Cum laude, oh my laude, magna cum laude, oh my laude.
Cum laude, whatever.
Oh my Lord.
Cum laude, oh my Lord, all the laudes. Okay, great. Or they've eliminated class rank entirely. The reasons, they vary. Fairness, concerns, academic pressure, competition over fractions of a GPA, and questions about whether ranking students reflects true educational value. So the question is no longer just historical, it's current and it's policy. And so my first question to you all is, does the valedictorian system still belong in our schools today? And I'm throwing it to you, Omar. Does it belong?
Clearly, like, I'm a nerd, so just my personal opinion about it is like, oh yeah, absolutely. There's something to be said about students that wound up accelerating so magnificently with their grades that they get a chance to be recognized and speak. Clearly, this was like a big deal for them. Now, I'm all for recognizing all sorts of students. In fact, we've got like a monthly celebration at EPLA, our school, for kids who exhibit collaboration and responsibility, all the soft skills that we care about. But we absolutely honor valedictorian and salutatorian. My mom was a salutatorian. Andrew Benitez, who was the co-founder of EPLA, is a salutatorian. I was third in my class. I got robbed from the salutatorian. And honestly, when we think about the acceleration, yeah, we can talk about the discrepancies today of one school to the other in terms of equity of grades and grading, difficulty levels, all those things. But I still think that there's something beautiful and what's the right word? Kind of noble about those kids who just dedicated themselves magnificently to their academics. I don't know. I do know. That's what I feel about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. What about you, Doc?
Yeah. I mean, like, we were lightweight talking about this before the show started. I didn't want to pre-do the show before the show. But no, I absolutely think it should be there. I mean, we don't, because some people are going to be uncomfortable because everybody can't win. Why are we taking it away? Look, man, you gotta let the nerds have their day too, man. If you play ball, if you run track, you get to get your gold medal. If you play soccer, you get to get recognized by your city. If you do any of those things that we consider superficial or whatever the case is, you get your glory. Let them people that's working hard to get their grades and do that. And of course, does it cause pressure? Absolutely. That's a part of high school. That's a part of growing up. We can't keep putting like wrap bubble paper over, bubble wrapping over everything that where if a kid is going to come out not super happy or super satisfied. I'm interested to hear the arguments as to why, but there's an incentive, and those young people are really incentivized. Like Omar remembers being number 3 and not getting to that place. I remember my ranking up until the time I left that school. Like, it's something that mattered to me. And I didn't get it, but it was something to strive for, and you move on. So yes, absolutely.
You think it still belongs. All right. David, what about you?
Oh, good question. I would say, like, I think we should move away from it for a couple of reasons. I think number one, I think we've all seen, the headlines for, the valedictorian from a particular like school district that broke through the odds, and I'm sure they did. Escaping from poverty, I'm sure they did. Mm-hmm. But that's like one person, right? And so I'm more interested in like the overall. I would be more interested in looking at the overall grade point average distribution for a graduating senior class than I am about one student that clearly excelled and did well. I also it's crazy to think, but the students that I first started working with when I got into education, they're almost they're almost like they're in their 30s, mid 30s, right? And so I know who our particular valedictorians were, salutatorians were. And I would say, for the most part, some of our kids that graduated, that may have needed to do that like last post 12th grade, like summer school, to get those last few credits just to get over the 2.0 GPA to graduate. For the most part, not doing any better or worse, and in some cases doing better, raising families, have good careers. So I think there's that. And then there's one other point to this. And I think for me, by the time I got to high school, it was not really a question, but I do remember in elementary school, at my graduation, like for whatever reason, I was chosen to give a speech. In middle school, at my graduation, I was chosen to give a speech at graduation. I don't know why. But that opportunity had evaded me by the time I graduated high school. So, yeah.
So you think, yes, the valedictorian system should still be in schools today, or no?
No, I don't think I just don't think there's a lot of value in it. Like, I think it's you. I think it's a lot of energy that is wasted, on where we could be focusing it in other areas. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. So to your point, Charles, I'm going to read a couple. These are not necessarily arguments against, but these are just some research-based things that have come up when people dig more into who gets to be valedictorian, et cetera. So one thing that is found, one we know is purely a meritocracy, right? So it's basically supposed to be whoever works the hardest and gets the highest grade wins. However, if we're looking from like a Black and brown student lens, the path is obstructed, right, by systemic, institutional, and interpersonal barriers, right? So one is systemic and resource inequities. If you're going to get the highest GPA, then you usually need access to heavily weighted classes like advanced placement, like IB courses or dual enrollment courses, right? So that for our children usually becomes some kind of barrier, not because they're not capable of doing it, but because sometimes there isn't a person that's leading them to that pathway, right? And, case in point, I can use my kids as an example, right? Like at this point, I think next year, Sydney will complete a few more AP courses. By the time he graduates, he'd have like either 8 or 10 AP courses. Well, nobody put that on his schedule. I had to go ask for it. Same thing for Zachary. I had to go ask for it and be like, why y'all put him on this very simple? First of all, why do you still have tracks? Okay. Secondly, why isn't this an automatic thing, right? That if you can see that a student is capable, right, or has the foundational work, right, the premise of whatever the work is, and has shown level of mastery, that they're being invited to participate in these courses. But it's just not an automatic thing. So systemic and resource inequities, and then there's sometimes gatekeeping and tracking especially like in racially diverse schools. Black and brown students are frequently tracked out of advanced classes due to implicit bias. Teachers and counselors may overlook students of color for honors recommendations, steering them instead towards standard tracks based on stereotype assumptions about their capability or work ethic. Another finding is institutional rule shifting. There is documented troubling history of schools moving the goalpost precisely when a Black or brown student qualifies as valedictorian or a high performing student. And this finding also impacts why some people are like, don't bother with GPAs or weighted averages, because what is the criteria? It's not the same across the board, right? Like what one school is saying, okay, this is the average or this is the ranking. Another school is saying it's this. So how do you measure up if the goalpost keeps moving? And then the psychological and social toll. So the environment.
I'm sorry, man. This is so weak, Juice, man. Go ahead.
What?
We used to be a proper country. This is just the weakest. None of these excuses.
Okay,
I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun with the episode today. But my God, man, like, because everybody can't do it.
No, it's true. Listen, hyper scrutiny. Come on, I think we can all agree on this. Hyper scrutiny and discipline disparities. Black and brown students are disciplined at disproportionately higher rates than white students for the same infractions. A single subjective suspension or disciplinary note can derail a student's eligibility for top academic honors or impact their grades. If Johnny can read at high levels, Johnny, right, he can debate, he can write, but they're not going to put Johnny in the AP class.
I can agree with these things as well. But so are we taking the prom king and queen away too? Are we taking away all the shit that like is superficial that has no, like, again, there's one thing there's like that the smart kids get to latch on to, yo. Like, let them have it. Like at my school, an Indian person won valedictorian, a Black girl won salutatorian. Congratulations, y'all. Like in most of the school don't give a shit. Like they don't care. Like that's like, congrats to your little nerd award.
They don't care because I think it's reachable.
I think that's fair. Yeah. Like the Indian student and the African American student, like they earned it, right?
Yeah.
However, the issue I have with it, and I mean, I've never liked this kind of reporting that I think is apropos to like June. So thank you, Jubilee. Where the Oakland Unified School District or San Francisco, or they get to like, oh, we had an African American student that was accepted to like 40 colleges, right? Mm-hmm. Valedictorian from this school, which is like the hardest public school to get into in the district, that happened to like break through and got accepted to like, X number of public and private colleges, and like, oh, it's such a feel good moment, right? So like this stuff is feel good. I get it. The children, the students earned it. I understand that. But I'm more concerned about like, show me your overall data. Show me your graduation rates disaggregated. Show me your GPA rankings overall disaggregated. I want to know. I don't care about the one like, Native American or African American or Latino student that maybe broke through. That's great. But I want to look at the totality of your performance. That's all that I care about.
Of course, but we're talking about two different things, right? We're talking about a school being held. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're talking about a school being held to like, what is the account of like how well we're actually educating our kids and doing that? We're talking, this is one thing that these kids get to have. Listen, they're mathlete kids. If your school is blessed to have mathletes, those kids care about winning mathletes. Like, let them have it, yo. Like the spelling bee kid. Like, what? I don't know what this is going to do for your future, but like, go ahead. Oratorical fest, right? Get up there and do your thing. And sometimes people get ranked. Sometimes people get ranked, and sometimes, and most ranking systems, somebody's going to feel like something was unfair. Do those systemic barriers exist in those mixed schools? Absolutely, I'm sure they do. I'm sure that they do. a lot of schools that we talk about tend to be mostly Latino or mostly Black or mostly whatever. But in these cases of like these big kind of melting pot schools, I just think we are over trivializing something that, like, let those kids have fun, man. Like you done got bullied all year. You done got wedgied out, yo. Like you done got made fun of for being in this club. We're not taking shit away from the wrestling team. We're not taking nothing away from the football team. We're not taking it away. Prom king and queen ain't shit, but who is popular? But we asking for the fucking vote. We asking for, we acting like there's like hanging chads or something in this. Who cares?
Okay.
Who cares?
All I'm trying to say is,
if your kid got valedictorian, would you want them to take it away?
It's not about the individual child. It's not about the individual child.
It's not, because only people that's complaining their individual child didn't get the shit. That's why it's not about the only child.
No, so I guess what I'm saying is, right, like, who is that valedictorian and salutatorian really competing against? When we look at the criteria and who has access, right, to the pathways that can help them meet the criteria, a lot of kids ain't even on the list, right? I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Like, so when I look at a valedictorian and they have a class ranking, right, how many of those kids on the list are actually competing for that? This is number one and number two out of a whole student body.
I love this, Jubilee. I love it. Keep it coming. I love it.
Listen, I don't know how I feel about it, but all I'm saying is it equitable? Is it accessible for all? Right? Is this student truly representative of, I
think you're making a great point. I love
with everybody. They're not, because not everybody is accessing AP courses.
Yes,
and it's not it's not because of capability or anything, right? It is because they don't have access. Somebody's not rooting for them. Somebody's not setting them up for success. Somebody's not telling them about it.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if I see it the same way. Now, if we all have the same starting point, right, and the opportunities are there and you don't take advantage, that's different. But what if you don't even know that you should? What if you don't even get an opportunity?
Can we speak to this person in chat? Thank you, Zeno
Signal.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
and I do want to come back to Jube after this. So go ahead.
I think quickly, the response there is that if you look at the national data, Latino and African American students are drastically under-enrolled into AP classes as compared to their white and Asian peers.
Absolutely.
You know, according to the overall demographics.
Absolutely.
And it even gets worse. It even gets worse when you go into public school settings that are quote unquote diverse, where we want all the children to come together, right? And then the other thing is, like, you could look at access, because in low income areas,
right,
in school districts, high poverty, they don't even have access to the courses.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And ladies and gentlemen, we're about to do what you call podding. I'm about to have so much fun because Jubilee made such a great argument. She said that not everybody has access to it. Is, you know, people are not always setting them up for success. And for those reasons, it's a good argument to be taken away, right?
Yes. And let me clarify.
Wait. Hold on. I got you.
Hold on. For the purpose of this, I'm talking about high school.
Wait,
I'm not
got you. High school. That's what we're talking about.
I don't know if
that's what we're talking about.
I don't know. Okay.
Let me enjoy your topic, your great topic. Because somebody on this panel, son, just got one of the highest official positions that one can get in a school district as a child, as a high school student. Some might argue that not every parent in the PG County range has the access or opportunity, or the parent that can put them on track to potentially run and be selected to be a student. What is it? What's his official title? He is the 40
of the Board of Education. 46.
And it's only how many of them in total? He's number what?
Well, they got.
He's number 46. He's number 46. He's number 46. So because only 46 people have gotten to take advantage of this, forget what Jubilee sacrifices she made. Forget the sacrifices this kid made. But because my kid, David's kid, and Omar's kid, because we didn't do that, let's take this opportunity away. Like, that's what it sounds like. And listen, I don't disagree with anything you all talk about. I run an organization that's built to do what? Teach people agency and discernment, meaning these are not the classes I need to have. I want my kid to have the best opportunity. I, as a student, sat in the office, which all this came from, and advocated for myself to the point where I almost got suspended because they did not have me in the right classes. I still didn't get valedictorian or salutatorian, but it was still something to strive for. What I'm saying is, if it's good for the goose, it got to be good for the gander. Every argument you just made is an argument against Sid being able to have this incredible opportunity, this incredible exposure, going through the process. The other kids that went through it that did not get there, this is the thing. There's something valuable in losing too. Like, losing builds a lot of character, and we're not letting kids lose no more, man. We're letting them lose in big, grandiose ways. But man, sometimes you're gonna lose the basketball game. Sometimes you're gonna lose the soccer. We're about to watch people across the world be crushed during knockout rounds. Do you understand?
Not tonight. Not tonight. Not tonight.
if Mexico loses and did they make it to knockout round?
Yes, they did.
Exactly. And if Mexico loses.
Don't piss David off now.
Crushed. Exactly. But that's the point that I'm making. I'm having fun and I'm being just.
Yes.
Everything that, let me just land the plane. Everything you're saying and the points you made are fair and they are accurate and there. And yet and still, you don't take the opportunity away. You clean shit up. You figure out what the standards are. But like Omar remembering number 3 and like kind of joking, but kind of serious. Like I got robbed out of that. Like, it matters. It's something that sticks with him, and you don't take that away. And especially those kids are not getting the high school popularity accolades most of the time in those ways. We are talking about taking something away from that group of kids. Nah, man, let them smart kids had a day, man. That's all. I'm having fun with it.
I would just quickly say a couple of things because I like seeing both sides of this. So Jubilee and David have an incredibly good point. And
absolutely,
just to kind of address the Xeno signal, what happens anecdotally, Xeno signal, is sadly, look, the overwhelming majority of teachers are like white women. And I've had this happen to me. The real Nikki is saying that it happened to her. This is a situation that I saw happening with my boy, Alonzo, who's right now in the comments section, who I got to teach at Coronado High School, is that there's an inherent bias, sadly, thinking that Black and brown kids don't deserve to be in the AP classes. So when you're saying like it's illegal for you not to sign up, oftentimes in order to get to honors and AP classes, you need a level of teacher recommendation.
You do.
And if you do not receive that teacher recommendation, oftentimes what happens is that you get a shitload of obstacles put in front of you. So you're not exactly wrong, Xeno Signal, in saying like these kids have access. It's just it is made difficult for them to access it, as opposed to some of the white counterparts that I saw where they're like, hey man, you should be in AP. And I was like, that kid has no like belonging in AP. I guarantee they won't be able to handle it. And then what happens is that Black Latino students will force themselves into an AP class, as I did several times, and then be told, hey, maybe you should, I don't know, not be in this class. Maybe this is
right
too tough and too rigorous. And I'm like, for who? For you? Like, I'm going to smoke this class and I'm going to smoke every kid in here. But I was the outlier, the massive outlier. Too many of my friends, too many of my fellow students, or too many of my fellow peers weren't allowed it. On the other end, I was advocating for Alonzo to get into all those classes because I don't know if it was the first time he heard, hey man, like you're brilliant and you belong in all of these like hotshot classes. What are you doing in the regular class? You belong in like the AP classes. And it may have been the first time he's heard that. So I get the fact that there's massive systemic issues into accessing AP and honors and some of the other classes, like guaranteed. At the end of the day, though, I think we are getting, I'm with Doc on this one, we're getting crazy.
Yes,
like
yes.
I am the most
yes.
like in my brain, I feel like all I care about is civil rights and equity of opportunity. Shit, like I built a school for equity of opportunity. But like, it's getting ridiculous to be like, we're going to get rid of this, get rid of this. Like, you know what I was just thinking about? I was hosting a program for the National Hispanic Institute. And the students within the program were exceptional. I loved them. I had a huge beef with some of the staff because they are stone cold pansies. And I was pissed that I had to deal with a group of highly entitled, super duper sensitive. I'm like, what world are you going to live in where this is acceptable? Particularly in the United States, you're going to go fight for our rights, for equitable housing, for equitable rights. You're sitting, you're stuck in your culture wars, and you're crying about the way someone's talking to you. Like, you're lucky that this isn't the 80s and we don't slap the shit out of you to put some sense into you to make you realize that the real world isn't fair. People are going to constantly try to undermine you. And if you don't know how to stand up for yourself and fight for what is important, because all this shit, people fighting over like, well, they should be prom king or valedictorian. Like, I'm with Doc. Like, who gives a shit? Who cares? I cared about valedictorian. I cared about getting robbed, but that's because I worked my ass off. But at the end of the day, you know what I care about? Black people and brown people getting houses. Black people and brown people giving equity of opportunity to enter into colleges. Black people and brown people getting the opportunity to own land, infrastructure, jobs. These are things that I care immensely about. If we're sitting here bickering and arguing about things that I find to be like semi-inconsequential, I think we're losing sight of what's really important in this country. And we got some big
countries beating us, man. And that's what I've been talking about. I got your question up. I saw Nikki's post. I do not agree. I just do not agree. Can you put it back up?
Which one?
Put it back up. This one with the right support. Many. Oh, I thought she said every student. If she's saying many, cool. If she's saying every student,
no,
every student cannot pass the AP course if it's
many.
The right.
She said many.
I want to give.
She said many. She said many. I thought it said every.
Yes. Before we go to this question, I want to give you an example that probably highlights what I'm trying to say. Right. I have a school in my portfolio. They're one of the top performing schools. They're like in U.S. News and World Report. Middle high school, right? They had their graduation. They had 23 of their students graduate with associate degrees, right? And they did that through advanced placement courses, right? The valedictorian of that class took 18 advanced placement courses. Cool. Overall, though, if you go to this school, somebody's going to talk to you about advanced placement courses, right? And they're going to say it ad nauseum. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. If I'm the principal of the school and I'm telling you about this and you don't take advantage of it, you're not interested in it. You want to be a C student. You don't want a double weighted, grade, whatever your reason is. You don't care. That's fine, right? But do we attract all the students who would care, right? When we have schools that may not do that. And I think that we have a lot of schools that don't do that. They are not messaging, right? Hey, you got these AP courses, and the gatekeeping piece is real too. To your point, Omar, the fact that you had to burrow your way into a class, right? You can look at somebody who's a C student and they come to you and say, look, I want to take AP biology. Why say no? Let them give it a shot,
Because it's limited space, because it's limited and the quality of the discourse. Again, if we're doing it right, we're just not entitled to everything all the time. We're not entitled because that's just not how the world works. That's just not how shit happens.
Why can't you give me another option?
It's because it's the same reason that you have tryouts for varsity basketball. Okay, 80 kids want to play varsity basketball. We got 15 jerseys. All of y'all not gonna make it. I'm sorry. You get to do your big one. You get to go try. You get to go try out. You get to work out in the summer. If you didn't make it, you get to, hey man, it happens. You know what? Michael Jordan got cut his freshman year. And then he went and became Michael Jordan. I'm just saying, like, if we keep every time somebody's uncomfortable and you just make it right for them, what type of resilience are you building in them? You're going to lose in life. You're going to lose an opportunity. You don't think there's some kid at home that's crying because your kid won and their kid didn't? and they didn't get to be up there.
Courses like that.
Why? Why? It's the same thing.
Any kid who wants to access advanced placement courses,
we're not. See again, you are moving the goalposts. We're not talking about AP classes. We're talking about 2 awards. We're talking about valedictorian.
That's how you get it.
But again, you still have to go advocate and do, like, again, everything that we're saying is true. But we know, as Black people, as brown people, as the kid that wants that, you got to go advocate, or somebody has to tell you, hey man, go ask for that. That's a skill set. And everybody don't have it, and it's sad that everybody may not have it. But again, I'm not gonna punish the people that went out and got it, because the Black girl that won salutatorian, she was poor. We was all poor, like, you know what I'm saying? But she did shit that other students weren't willing to do. She signed up for all that extra stuff. She took those extra classes, and people laughed at her, and that's her. And she got to have it, man. I think we're conflating 2 different things. And again, and it's just, I can't take the argument serious when we're not talking about getting rid of prom king and queen. That is only about who is attractive and who is popular. Like, I can't even go into this without laughing when we're talking about punishing kids that's trying to achieve, and they see this thing at the end of the road, y'all. You know what are getting if you're that Black kid that lived that life and you do all those things and you still lose, you're still going to be able to get some scholarships. You're still going to be able to get into programs at certain schools. Come on, bro. I've helped people. I have helped thousands of Black kids. I've helped thousands of Black kids get $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 in funds just because of where they grew up, just because of when we I'm just saying, man, we are becoming uber soft. This is like the softest shit ever. I like your kid's not promised to be valedictorian.
All I'm saying is there are pathways to get to certain things, and I'm talking about the equity side, because you're talking about agency and signing up. I'm saying what happens if you have that? Yes, but what happens if you have that? What happens if you try that, but there's a gatekeeper, or there's a human being responsible for scheduling? Right. And so what I'm saying is, did enough students have access so that a valedictorian or salutatorian option could become part of their reality? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not necessarily a proponent of taking it away or removing it. I'm talking about, how do we address the barriers that exist? Right. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But at least you had the opportunity to be in the race. Some of our kids are not even in the race because there are roadblocks for them to be able to take these kinds of courses that put them on a pathway. So that's what I'm saying.
I don't know if we have any like good data to look at regarding salutatorians, valedictorians, and how well they're doing post K-12 graduation compared to the average C student that maybe was working the whole time through high school and maybe went into the military or went directly into a trade. Let's look at where they're at the age 35 in terms of, income, life stability, access to some kind of pension down the road, all of that. I think it's an interesting question to ask.
Like I said, it's a fun conversation, man. I like, if you, again, man, your kid goes to an incredible high school, David. You've talked about it on here, right? You talked about the.
It ain't that incredible, yeah.
Well, but it's shit that they get to do that a lot of the schools that you saw in Oakland didn't get a chance to.
Yes.
So now, if it's like, well, because I can't have that opportunity, your kids shouldn't be able to have that opportunity either, because there were barriers.
We're talking about. I think what we're talking about is, essentially, it's a gaming issue. It's a gaming issue.
Respectfully, y'all have changed what we're talking about multiple times.
We're talking about
salutatorian and valedictorian. Then it turned. If we're going to talk about AP classes and honor classes and access, then let's have that conversation. We talked about
of the episode is, should we ditch valedictorians, class rank, and weighted GPAs? But we're talking about the valedictorian, salutatorian, but we're also talking about the pathway to that. So how do we address the outcome if we don't address the process? That's all. That's what I'm saying.
David, kids are getting beat up now, man.
Yeah, I think the valedictorian, salutatorian thing is is, I mean, in my mind, it's outdated. I think also, I know that some students can figure it out. Some students have no idea how to navigate it. And some students need the support of their parents to help them navigate it. But it's essentially gaming a system. You're like, how can I get the most GPA points, right? So the problem there is like, you might have a salutatorian or a valedictorian, but are they well-rounded individuals, or did they just take the classes that could give them the biggest bang for their buck, right?
Yes.
That's gaming a system. Like, that's a game. That's not like authentic education. That's not like a fully well-rounded kind of like liberal arts, person that's ready to go out into the world or go into the military or go into college. That's somebody that maybe doesn't even have a narrow focus by design, but a narrow focus by necessity, because they took the classes where they knew they could get the most GPA points. That's not good for anybody, And I think the other thing, and I'll circle back to this, because
I mean, it's not good for anybody, but like, I hate to say it, isn't this sadly the system that this country lives in? Like, I'm all for equity of
absolutely,
exactly, but why are we?
What pisses me off, David? Like, David, we were at a conference right now, and I was not pulling my punches when I said that there was a ton of people at that conference running schools that have no business running schools. They're not smart. They're not capable. They have no idea what the hell they're doing. What they are aggrandized, entitled little children who got this opportunity, A, because mommy and daddy, or B, because they knew someone on the board, or C, because they had money, or D, because they were linked with someone with money. And they're out here running shit. Like, I just saw this quote from Obama that like really resonated with me. He was like, look, you get to these tables with people with huge bank accounts, they're running this and running that, and you think that these people are so brilliant and so aggrandized, and you get to talking to them, you're like, his quote, they ain't all that. My quote, they ain't shit. But this is sadly, and I would love to correct it, the systems in which like this is a game. And if you know how to play this game, yes, there are massive incentives. Trust me, dude, on my little pirate ship, I have been outrightly tried to have my pirate ship burnt down, sunk, destroyed, because I'm out here telling the truth. And I'm not protected because I'm not playing the game that these people want me to play. Do I think that's wrong? Of course. But do I think that not understanding the technicalities of these games in something like high school and trying to protect children from the real world is a good idea? I don't. This is the game. This is how it's played. And if students don't begin to understand that, they're going into a world shockingly naive. And they're going to get.
So if you and me are in the second grade together, and if your mom and dad send you to school with like a bologna sandwich, and mine send me to school with torta de carnitas, and you can intimidate me into giving you my torta in exchange for your bologna sandwich, should we reward that behavior?
That's an interesting comparison, because I think what we're saying is I'm not intimidating any kid by understanding how to get into AP courses and how to game the system and how to get the best points. Now, look, AP courses are significantly harder than the regular courses. So forget about gaming. Those courses.
Well, there's a whole question on that too. Right.
But like bullying you and understanding the mechanics of a system is an apples and oranges comparison.
And I'm curious. But
trying to get over
the question. But my question wasn't valid. My question was off topic. But we talk about second graders and bullies. Yeah,
your question was.
We're talking about gaming. We're talking about gaming systems.
What Omar is saying is that there are things in schools that prepare you for the real world, and you cannot bubble wrap these kids constantly, and that's a problem, man. And I think that we have to listen. One of the best things, we worked really hard. We won our league. We wanted to go to state. We were 3 games away from state, and we lost. and I wept in my locker. And it was one of the best things that happened, because what it told me is I can work as hard and I can want it as bad. And everybody here was deserving and worth it, but a better team beat us tonight. And sometimes you lose. You have to find ways to build character. But if every time something is wrong and we get to say, well, because it's black and brown and because it's this and you deserve this, and then people are going to grow up and they're going to come out here with a sense of things that they just like exactly what you said, Omar, they feel entitled to. And this is, I mean, and I know the bullying question was a little flippant, but honestly, there is some utility to bullies. Because in life, you will deal with fucking bullies. And like, you need to know how to deal with these things. Sometimes, look, man, you have to have a moment. When I come home scared, I'm telling you what it is. I
don't think I want public school teachers to teach my kids about the realities of bullies and intimidation.
I got you. What I'm saying is, when I come home and I'm scared of something, and my mom is like, okay, baby, did you go tell? Did you do whatever? Blah, blah. And my dad is sitting there and he watches it and she leaves. Hey, man. Fight, dog. And sometimes it's okay to get your ass whooped, man, but you can't be running scared. And that's going to be a problem for your whole life. These are life lessons that like you cannot always sugarcoat from. That's why nobody know how to deal with Donald Trump, because everybody that fucking deal with him is entitled themselves. They've never been in a fight. They don't know how to like, I don't know. I mean, again, I had a lot of fun with the topic, but we're talking about taking this thing away from kids. And again, there's no mention of, like I said, I'm going back to prom king and queen. If we gonna do this, then let's take all that little fun shit away, man. Like, who cares? Are you really mad that you didn't get valedictorian or salutatorian? Do you remember all those people? Let that group. It's a specific type of young person. There tend to be a small group, maybe 50 kids in a school of over 500. That's really kind of going for that, right? Like, let them have it. That's their shit.
I don't think that's a problem. I mean, we going into final thoughts. I don't disagree with that.
Thank you, Nikki.
If that's what they care about, no problem. I'm talking about whether or not the information even got to them. You talked about the championship, whatever. You talked about the championship, but
I was talking about the comment. I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about the comment. Go ahead. No, it was the comment.
I love it. Yes, let's chaos.
Soft, man.
Still produce seeds for the next play.
That's why everybody gonna be speaking Chinese in 20 years, because of this shit right here. They don't give a fuck about none of this.
You talked about I'm telling you, man. Listen, you talked about a championship, right? Your team went against another team. Your team didn't win. You cried and you're like, okay, fine. What if you went to that championship and your team was not allowed to practice?
It happens. It happens all the time.
So for the entire season, your team wasn't able to practice anything at all, and then you go to the championship game. How would
you not make it to the championship? I mean, you're really stretching the metaphor. But you're stretching the metaphor. Exactly. No, it's not. But it's not a point, because it is the point.
You don't make it to the championship because nobody gave you a pathway to do so. They saying play this championship game, but we're not going to allow you to practice and put in the work necessary so that you can compete on a championship level. To me, the road to valedictorian or salutatorian is the same thing. Right. I am not a proponent of taking it away. I'm not, but I am a proponent of addressing the barriers. And somebody put earlier in the chat, I think it was Zeno, put equality, equity, two different things. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is about equity, which is about removing barriers and roadblocks, right, that take away opportunity. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying we're going to address the outcome, which is the opportunity to become valedictorian or salutatorian. Then we should also look at the pathway that not all students get an opportunity to be on that pathway who might just want to be. If you don't want to be, we're not talking to you. But if you want to be and we haven't provided an opportunity, then that's something that we need to look at as educators, because we in many ways are the barriers. We have guidance counselors that will skip you, and not register you. What do you do for that, right? Anyway, all right. Looking forward to you.
He's talking about how weak the United States is becoming. This is what I'm listening, man.
I know.
Anyway,
hey, it's 4 o'clock. I got a soccer match to watch.
Yes, go ahead. Give us your final thought, and then we'll go to Omar. Doc, you close out.
My quick closing thoughts. I want to thank Zeno for being here. I like mixing it up. I love the viewpoint.
It was fun.
But I will tell you, I don't have a strong opinion on the valedictorian, salutatorian, weighted GPA thing. My because I've been there and I've had to make those hard calls for like, you know, a student not getting either one of those because I knew that something had happened in their personal lives where they couldn't come to school and it caused their grade to go down and their GPA to drop by, you know, 0.01 and they lost out on it. Right. That's real. However, my focus is on the larger system. So we didn't really get to it, but I will tell you, I'm all in favor of moving towards the adoption of the Latin system, where we're actually grouping students. Let's look at all the 4.0 to 4.5s. Let's give them, you know, the Magna Award. Let's look at the Summas. Let's look at the cum laudes, right? So let's look at the 3.5s to 3.75s, 3.75s to 4.0s, 4.0s to 4.5s. Okay, let's group them together. You all get your stuff, right? You're all very special. You work very hard. And then let's look at those three groups and let's determine whether those groups are proportional to the overall demographics in your school system. That's the conversation I want to have, pushing back on accountability for a school system. I don't really care that much for like the great feel-good story of the one student that broke through and got accepted to like 30 schools from Richmond, California or Oakland, California. Sorry, not interested in that. I want to look at the bigger picture. I want to hold districts accountable. I want to hold charter school systems accountable. That's kind of where my mind is at.
Thank you for that. Omar, final thoughts?
Yeah, I don't disagree with what David said. Actually, I thought it was pretty great, pretty astute. I actually like the summa cum laude and cum laude system. Like those are great. What I think I would do if I could make any kind of difference is how are we looking at Black and brown kids that have been disproportionately selected away from those AP classes and those honors classes and figuring out a better way of trying to corral them in or figure out if they've got the strengths and the aptitudes to get in. So like anecdotally with Alonzo, like it just happened that he was my student. I was like, God dang, this kid's brilliant. Like what's going on? But like, that's because I caught that because he was in my class. What if he wasn't? You know, what other teachers have been so adept to helping him out versus is there a better way of figuring this out? Because I got to tell you, like even getting into humanities and honors in middle school, I found to be like very much lean towards white students. That's what I would fix in trying to get students who are intellectually up to the task of AP and honors into those classes. And then like on the inverse, dude, like my niece is going through this right now with a lot of her friends whose parents are like pushing to get them into the AP classes and they're just getting crushed. They don't belong in there. They can't handle the intellectual rigor of those classes. So that's what I was on the David side of this one, and the Doc side is like, there's only so many places. I'm like, those kids don't belong in those places, and some of our kids do. That's what I would try to figure out and fix. The valedictorian and salutatorian thing of it all is kind of inconsequential to me, but I love David's idea about magna cum laude and summa cum laude. In fact, David, let's talk more about that. I might be able to implement that in our high school, like quickly. I think that's a great idea.
Yep.
Doc?
Yeah, fun conversation. I really did have fun with it. I think, but I think as we keep talking about this being a microcosm of a larger issue, I do think that we have an issue of we do kind of baby a lot of things, and everything that we talked about, whether it's the armed forces, whether it's being a lawyer, whether it's being a surgeon, like they rank. You know, you gotta rise up. If you can't just be a Navy SEAL because you want to be one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to. And failure is a part of it. I'll end my piece talking about your kid needs to experience failure early so they can build character. This is why like kids in college don't even know how to go up and talk to a girl because they're so afraid of getting rejected. Go get rejected, dog. It's part of life. You don't have to come back and shoot up the fucking school. Like, and this is part of this is because there's been an adult that has very good intentions, but every time it's okay, it's not your fault, it's okay, it was unfair, and sometimes it is unfair, but sometimes you got to fight through unfair shit, and all of us have fought through unfair shit to get to where we are, and I think we're doing a disservice by not allowing them when they're young to kind of, struggle through that a little bit, right? Like you can go to the pond and all the ducks get up and then there's one. And then they just look and they just like, you got to get your ass up. Like because you're going to have to do this when I'm not here. And all I'm saying is there are other countries. There are people that are pissed that we won World War I and World War II, man. There are people that's like, we're never again. And they're not. I'm just telling you, China's not having these conversations. You're going to be number one. Hey, man, we're going to go to America and we're going to go over and take over this shit. And I just don't know if we're going to have a big enough group of people that can take the punches and keep going. I say that in jest because we have fun. I'm open and I would love to have a larger conversation about, if we talk about AP and honors courses and who doesn't get it and that, let's do that. I think it kind of got Trojan horsed in here on something that was a little, lighter and fun, but hey man, if go for what you want, go for what you know, man. But I had a good time on this episode. So this is what a podcast should be.
Well, thank you for that. I think my final thought is simple. I'm just talking about equity and removing barriers. I think I'm proud of every scholar who earned valedictorian, salutatorian, magna cum laude, all the laudes. I have no issue with it, but I am always just thinking about the pathway to get there. And if when you get there, if that is a full and true representation of what we think it is, right? Or is it a representation of, to David's earlier point, someone who figured out how to game the system, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you became brighter, smarter, more prepared than other scholars. It just means you figured out how to you don't care about psychology. You're not even going into that field at all, but you figured if you take AP psychology, you're going to get, a double weighted grade or what have you. And so I think that those are the questions. And, being in schools, working with several, portfolio of schools, I see how, and my children being in high schools where I often have to advocate for them about these things, right? It's not that damn easy. My kids access certain things because I know better. And so if I were to address anything, it would be to figure out how to help parents have more agency and understand what they can ask for and understand what their children can access. But I'm saying, and I'm on the inside, and we are all on the inside in some way or another, right? That doesn't come naturally, right? And it doesn't have anything to do with agency. It has to do with somebody on the other side saying, you deserve this, you don't. You deserve this, you don't. And then you never get an opportunity to even be in the race for valedictorian or salutatorian because somebody thought, oh, you don't deserve to take these classes. You can't do it. You're not smart enough. You're not this and that. And so those are my final thoughts. I'm Jubilee. That's David. That's Omar Yanar. And that's Doc Charles Cole III. And we are the South Star Classroom. Join us next week. All right. Same place, same time.
Peace out.